this video we're going to talk about half steps and whole steps. In my opinion, one of the easiest things there is to understand about music. In fact, you don't really need to know a lot about music to understand half steps and whole steps. You don't need to know your notes of the treble and bass clef, you don't need to know their values and durations, you don't need to know much about music theory. In fact, you don't even need to really know how to play an instrument to understand half steps and whole steps. Ironically though, half steps and whole steps can be very important in understanding so much about music theory, like building chords in many different modes like major and minor, building scales, once again, major and minor. So let's get right to it and let's talk about half steps and whole steps. A half step is the closest possible distance between two notes. There can be no notes between them. For example, this is a half step. There are no notes between these two notes. This is a half step. There are no notes between these two notes. This is a half step because these two white notes do not share a black note. So that's a half step. As is this. This is also a half step. There are no notes between these two notes. Half step, half step, half step, half step. A whole step happens when you add two half steps together. Whole steps share a note in the middle. For example, this is a whole step because they share this note between them. This is a whole step. They share this note. Here's a whole step. These two notes share this note right here in the middle. As is this. This is also a whole step because they share this note. Let's not forget the black notes. This is a whole step because they share this note right here in the middle. Whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step.